Hey guys, what's up? Crypto Marco here, and in today's video we'll talk about ICOs and stocks. Because as you can see, the market is very depressing. So yesterday I made a video on why the market is going down. Today I could talk about some more news, but in my opinion, guys, I think that we've heard enough depressing stuff. So it's Friday. Let's put ourselves in a good mood, because you can't make good decisions if you're not in a good mood. So today I really want to educate the beginners. If you enjoy the content, make sure to leave it a thumbs up, because among everybody who's commenting, who's leaving a nice comment, not just a few words, I'm gonna give away a small amount of Litecoin. So if you want to participate, just leave a comment down below with your Litecoin address. So if you are a beginner, you might have heard of the word ICO. But what is an ICO and how does it differ from an IPO, initial public offering, so stocks? Fear no more, I will explain it to you in this video. Keep in mind that whatever I said in this video is my personal opinion and not financial advice, although it is based on my own research. So it's not just something, I've read in a fairy tale, but it's actually researched by me. But again, I have to make sure that I'm on the right side here. We'll first look at some bullet points, some important stuff on IPOs, then some ICO facts, and then we'll compare ICOs and IPOs. So an IPO is an initial public offering. And when somebody's speaking of a company going public, that's pretty much what they mean. So the first IPO was done 1602 by the Dutch East India Company. Very new concept back then, in a time where people were exchanging goods based on, commodities and something that you could touch. It must have been probably really weird for the first time to see something on paper and be like, okay, and this is supposed to be worth something. But of course, ICOs also have had a rocky start, and now they gain more and more trust. So basically, the first IPO was done like fucking almost 500 years ago, actually 400. Well, and the highest grossing IPO ever was Alibaba with a whopping $25 billion. Amazing! It was only like 1 or 2 years ago, and in 2017, there were somewhere between 1,600 and 1,700 IPOs done, and they grossed in total 190 to 200 billion US dollars. So quite a lot. And basically, I have written a little, list of how the process is going. Basically, the first phase in an IPO is the planning the process. So they're giving people tasks. They are segmenting the stock, so in which segment are we going to go, and then they're doing a roadmap. Then they're preparing the ICO, so they're doing an assessment, maybe even creating some brochures. Then they structure the emission, so timing, legal questions are getting dealt with, the marketing plan is getting developed, what kind of offering structure they're going to do, how much commission is going to be paid to whom, because that's quite interesting, and I'm gonna get into commissions later. Next up is then the marketing, so press releases, publication for international investors, because just because a company is great, such as Facebook or Alibaba, doesn't mean that they can't afford to not to do any marketing at all. And then offering and selling the stocks, they are doing some pricing. So the procedure of how you emit a stock is not simply you just set a price and then that's it, because you have to kind of find a price. So people will make offers, like the investors will make offers, and then from the highest bidder, the company will start to sell to the highest bidder and then work their way down to the lowest. But that's just one of the ways that you can do it. And they're also doing a roadshow. So roadshow is just when you travel around and basically promote your initial public offering. So it's kind of doing marketing. Then, contrary to that, we have the initial coin offering. So that's when a company that is based on blockchain technologies or cryptocurrency offers a coin or a token for the first time. So the first ICO was done 2013, and the record for the biggest ICO until now is Filecoin with 257 million. 2017, $7 billion were raised in ICOs, but to be honest, guys, I think that 2018 will be such a bigger year for ICO, so I'm pretty sure about that. But it stays very interesting how far ICOs will get us. So here is a comparison. On the left side, we have ICOs. On the right side, we have IPOs. So when you're participating in an IPO, you actually have a voting right. So IPOs is, you know, you buy stock, so you buy something. Basically a company needs capital, a company needs money, and they are offering shares of that company, and you can buy that share, and with that share you get certain rights. You get, for example, the right to vote, although I think Snapchat is an exception, but basically you cannot, you know, that it's not like you simply invest in it and that's all. You participate from the growth. No, you actually get a right to go to, I don't know, how do you call those meetings that they do once a year? In Germany, we call that, sorry guys. In Germany, I guess we would call that a members meeting. So, no, we don't. So once a year you can participate in a shareholders meeting, and that's when you discuss important stuff about the company. And you know, it might be the case that there are like 1,000 people at an investors meeting, and the funny thing is that when they're voting for something, and of these 2,000 people, like 1,999 raise their hands for no. But you could be one guy who has like the biggest share of the company, and if you raise your hand, you have more votes than all the other people combined, and you'll still win. So it's important to know that you, as an investor, can actually make decisions that will have an impact on the company. And if you're doing it with an ICO, you have no voting rights. Like, nobody cares what you do. I mean, that's at least how it goes until now. Currently, we're seeing ICOs being done with DPoS, so delegated proof of stake, where you have some nodes that are making decisions, but it's still in its infancy. So we're trying to kind of digitalize social programs that we have going on in our society. So it's still in its infancy, but pretty much when you're buying an ICO, you don't have any voting rights. Then what's also important to know is that when an IPO is being done, a company is probably at its late stage. So Snapchat, Facebook, Alibaba, those are all companies that haven't been around for like a few days and then they did their ICO. No, they were already years ahead in the business. They were already gigantic, and they're doing IPOs when they are already big companies and they want to grow even more and they need money for that. And ICOs are the birth of a big company in most cases. Then you have regulations. So IPOs need to take care of a buttload of regulation. They really need to, especially in the USA, when you're dealing with the SEC, there's a lot of stuff you need to take that needs to be taken care of. It's super expensive and super annoying. And ICOs don't have that. So ICOs are basically like IPOs. You know, you get money, but it's just a lot easier. So that's why currently the SEC is investigating so many ICOs and saying that they're going to implement more regulations to protect the investor. And in my opinion, that is a good thing, in my opinion. But you just need to be aware that the regulations of ICOs are a lot thinner than they are for IPOs, so you need to be really careful. Higher entry barrier. For example, Facebook. You might think that, oh, I have $100 to spare. I would like to invest in Facebook. Well, it's not that easy, because in many cases, certain IPOs only want accredited investors to follow certain regulations. So for example, you must be somebody who has at least 2 million in assets and makes $200,000 a year to invest in. So the entry barrier for IPOs is a lot higher than, example, for most ICOs. So in ICOs, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter. Like in most cases, there are some where you need to be an accredited investor, but in ICOs, many ICOs out there offer people to participate with only $100. And I think it's a great thing to enable parts of the society that weren't able to invest in public offerings before to do that all of a sudden. I mean to coin offerings, not like, you know what I mean, investing. Then of course, with buying a share, you purchase also a little bit of company ownership. That's something I already mentioned. But when you buy a coin or a token, you get the utility of it. And when you buy a coin, basically you can use the coin to do certain stuff with it. So for example, when you're investing in an exchange, you can, most exchanges work like that when you have a coin of a certain exchange, you get a certain amount of the fees that are being generated by the exchange. But other than that, the value of the company that you have invested in an ICO increases as the utility increases. So for example, Ethereum is being used by many companies all over the world, so the value of Ethereum increases. Company ownership, Facebook has more value in the eyes of other people, the value increases, so that's how it goes. Then exchange listing, so IPOs need to be listed on exchange when they are being issued for the first time, but ICOs don't have listing obligations. They can do that, and most do it, but they don't have. Then what's interesting, many IPOs rely on middlemen to connect investors and sellers, and the margin can be quite high for that, so 4%. So that's a big motivation for many people to invest in IPOs. For example, you hook up a rich guy for like a company, and he invests like 100 million, you get 4 million out of that one deal. So that's a great thing. And in ICOs, you don't have a middleman, so because everybody can participate, and it's really easy. And then the last point, something that's very interesting in my opinion, is both are risky. So people think that initial public offerings or stocks are safer than ICOs, and actually have to agree to a certain extent, because if you invest like at least 30 years, then if history repeats itself, which it has done in the last 100 years plus, then you will definitely make a profit. Still though, stocks are still sort of a gamble. So nobody can tell you whether a company will go up or will go down. Nobody knows that. It's still a gamble. It's just a gamble where a lot of people are making money on, and it just sounds so much better than gambling. So you have to be aware that with IPOs, with stocks, and with coins you invest in, there are risks, and there's no risk-free zone. So with ICOs, there's always the risk of falling for a fraudulent project, the project falling apart, important team members leaving. You're always confronted with these kind of risks. But with an IPO, of course, governments can take down companies, technology evolves, IBM gets hit by Windows, and Windows then and Yahoo gets countered by Google. So you're never really safe, and you need to be really aware of that. That's important. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope now you know what's the difference between ICOs and IPOs, and I hope you know that now you know what initial coin offerings are. Invest responsibly, please. Something I already mentioned in the video. Everything's my personal opinion. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below with a question, because among everybody who's commenting, I'm giving away a small amount of Litecoin. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and hit that notification bell to never miss a video, and share the video with friends and family. Now, something that you can give to your friends and family, it's enchanted Litecoin. So as I said earlier, I'm giving away Litecoin in every of my motherfucking videos, and now is the time to see who will be the winner, and it's Chuck Cooper. What a lovely comment. Another great video. Thanks for the info. I think it's all the scammers and hackers. It's a confidence thing when you hear about hackers and scammers. Confidence goes down. So does Bitcoin. There's so many hackers and scammers. People are losing confidence. Chuck Cooper, I think it's a you're a smart guy for seeing that, but I think making only the scammers and the hackers responsible for that, I think it's too easy. I think there are more reasons to that, but yeah, of course, they're also a part of it. And my friend, thank you very much for your comment. Here are your 2 enchanted Litecoins, and I wish you guys a great weekend. Remember, there are more important things in life than cryptocurrencies. Enjoy the time with your loved ones, with your family, your friends, whatever. Maybe even with me. That would be great. In any case, thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend and see you next week. Bye-bye.